Hi there, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hari Krishnan. I am a professor at Wesleyan University. How's everybody doing? Thank you for coming to the World Music Hall on this gorgeous, beautiful day. We have quite a spectacular treat for you. Just a couple of housekeeping rules and a couple of acknowledgements before I introduce what's going to unfold for the day. There are 2 emergency exits on the side, and please turn off your cell phones. Like yesterday, and if you can, there should be no unauthorized audio recording and video recording of this performance in terms of copyright and respect for the artists. We'd like to thank the Dance and Music departments and the Madhu Reddy Endowment Fund for supporting this festival. It's a long-standing festival. It's in our 48th year. And the festival began yesterday, and it's the second and the final day, and we have an amazing array of different events. We had our puja at 2:15, and before I introduce the Indian Dance Showcase, we also have some Indian snacks for you from 4:15 to 5. And then at 5 o'clock, 5 to 6, graduate student Hansini Bhaskar, where are you, Hansini? Yes, Hansini right there, will be facilitating a discussion on the legacy of the Navaratri festival and also sharing future possibilities in terms of how the festival moves forward beyond 2024, featuring both Wesleyan faculty and Wesleyan alum. And then at 8 o'clock, we have the amazing violin maestro who's performing at the Kroll Concert Hall, V.V. Subramaniam and his team of amazing, stellar musicians. So please come for that. If you haven't bought your tickets, it's going to be quite spectacular. Now, coming to this afternoon's showcase, typically we have presented a singular style of Indian dance over the years at the Kroll Concert Hall. But for this year, we decided to do something else for 2 reasons. The World Music Hall is an historic space for the legacy of world dance and music at Wesleyan from the 1960s. So we decided to bring back the festival and to this space where where so much of it was amplified. And what I would like for you to think about is if any of you have seen any kind of Indian dance, it's always about the intimacy and specificity and attention to detail. And what's lost in a bigger venue, you don't see that. You don't experience that magic sometimes. But in a smaller space, you get to experience that intimacy. So that's the other reason why we are so excited to showcase not just 1, 4 different dance styles for you this afternoon. So the idea of showcasing these particular dance artists are also twofold again. The first reason is to foster this outreach community in terms of Wesleyan and the larger community. So we are featuring 2 popular dance teachers, Rachna and Sarada, in addition to Wesleyan students, Tanvi and Akella, who represent 4 different dance styles. So you see here a merger of professional dancers, emerging dancers coming together. But what's really important is everyone here is based in Connecticut. So you see a Connecticut representation of what Indian classical dance can entail. The program order has slightly shifted. We're going to start with Rachna performing a Kathak piece and Tanvi performing a Bharatanatyam piece, followed by Akella, who's performing an Odissi piece, and ending the afternoon showcase with Sarada performing a Kuchipudi piece. Before I hand you over to Rani, who's going to be introducing the various solos, I'd like to invite you to stay after the 4th solo. Is going to bleed into a post-performance discussion. And we are going to talk about what you saw, and the artist is are going to be discussing and sharing with you their creative processes and why they picked these specific solos for this occasion. And that's going to expand into you asking them questions, sharing your thoughts, and offering observations and provocations. So I hope that you will stay and we can engage in a passionate discussion about Indian dance at Wesleyan University and beyond. Now, please join me in welcoming Rani Arbo, but before that, please join me in giving a warm Wesleyan welcome to Rachna Agrawal, Tanvi Navile, Akhil Joondeph, and Sarada Nori.
Thank you, Hari, and welcome everybody. My name is Rani Arbo, and I work at the Center for the Arts as Campus and Community Engagement Manager. Welcome, welcome. You might find more space on that side. Maybe give it a shot over there. It's amazing to have such a full house. Thank you for all being snuggled up together to make room for everybody. I'm going to begin by reading actually what's in your program, so you can refer to that. So the first piece with Rachna Ramya Agrawal is the song is Koj, choreography by Rachna Ramya, music by Atul Desai, and this is a contemporary Kathak piece based on Rumi's poems. As Coleman Barks describes, the Sufi mystic and poet Jalaluddin Rumi, who lived in the 13th century, experienced the madness of sudden love, which shifted into romance, then to a deep friendship with Shamsi Tabriz, and finally to an immersion into divine love. Putting aside duality, attuned to longing, Rumi was the spiritual drunkard who hung out in God's tavern. Every question I ask is about you. Every step I take is towards you. I slept well last night, but I woke up drunk. I must have dreamt about you.
I was there on the first day, before anything had a name. On that day, there was neither I nor we. Every name and everything named came after me. There is a place where words are born of silence, a place where the whispers of the heart arrive. There is a place where voices sing your beauty, a place where every breath carves your image in my soul. Every question I ask is about you. Every step I take is toward you. I slept well last night, but I woke up drunk. I must have dreamt about you. Dancing in ecstasy you go, my soul of souls. Don't go without me. Laughing with your friends, you enter the garden. Don't go without me. Don't let the sky turn without me. Don't let the moon shine without me. Don't let the earth spin without me. Don't let the day pass without me.
Agrawal, class of 25. And her song is Bharata Kama Veda. Music is by Mandolin Prasad, lyrics by Purushottam Kanaga, and the raga is Saraswati and Adi Talam. The poet pays homage to the 4 Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Atharva Veda, and Sama Veda, as well as to the visual and performing arts. The composer elevates the 5 elements of music and dance: bhava, emotion; raga, melody; tala, beat; laya, tempo; and lasya, grace, to the status of panchamrita, or 5 nectars. The dancer will guide you through a journey of the navarasas, or 9 emotions: Shringara, love; hasya, laughter; karuna, compassion; rajra, anger; veera, heroism; bhayanaka, fear; bibhatsa, disgust; adbhuta, wonder; and shanta, peace. The poet celebrates the beauty of Bharatanatyam, likening it to the 5th Veda. And this is a medley of 2 pieces, and the second piece is Bhumi Mangalam, with music by Pandit Ravi Shankar and George Harrison. And Bhumi Mangalam is a traditional prayer from the Vedas.
ಜಗವೆಲ್ಲ ನುಡಿಸುವ ನಾಟ್ಯಕಲೆ ಜನಮನ ಗೆಲ್ಲುವ ಶಿವನ ನೆಲೆ. ಜಗವೆಲ್ಲ ಹಾಸ್ಯ, ಭಯಾನಕ, ಭೀಭತ್ಸ, ರೌದ್ರ, ಶಾಂತ, ನವರಸಲಾಸ್ಯದ ರಾಗಶಿಲೆ, ನವಜೀವನಾನಂದ ಸುಖದ ಸೆಲೆ, ಭರತಾಗಮ ವೇದ ನಾಟ್ಯಾಮೃತ, ಹಸಿರಿನ ಪ್ರಸ್ಥಾನ, ಆತ್ಮ ಸೌಂದರ್ಯ ಸ್ವರ್ಗ ಸೋಪಾನ, ಜೀವದುಸಿರೆನಿಸೋ ಹಸಿರಿನ ಪ್ರಸ್ಥಾನ, ಆತ್ಮ ಸೌಂದರ್ಯ ಸ್ವರ್ಗ ಸೋಪಾನ. ತಕ್ಕಿಟ್ಟ ಧಿಕ್ಕಿಟ್ಟ ತುಂಕಿಟ್ಟ ತಕ್ಕಿಟ್ಟ ಧಿಕ್ಕಿಟ್ಟ ತುಂಕಿಟ್ಟ ನೃತ್ಯ ಜೀವನ, ನೃತ್ಯ ಚೇತನ, ನೃತ್ಯ ಚಿಂತನ, ನೃತ್ಯ ಮಂಥನ, ನೃತ್ಯ ಜೀವನ, ನೃತ್ಯ ಚೇತನ, ನೃತ್ಯ ಚಿಂತನ, ನೃತ್ಯ ಮಂಥನ, ನೃತ್ಯ ಮೋಹನ, ನೃತ್ಯ ಸಾಧನ, ನೃತ್ಯ ಚಿರಂತನ, ನೃತ್ಯ ಸಮರ್ಪಣ, ನೃತ್ಯ ಮೋಹನ, ನೃತ್ಯ ಸಾಧನ, ನೃತ್ಯ ಚಿರಂತನ, ನೃತ್ಯ ಸಮರ್ಪಣ, ಲೋಕಾಚರಣ, ನೃತ್ಯ ಲೋಕಾಭರಣ.
भूमिमङ्गलम् उदकमङ्गलम् अग्निमङ्गलम् वायुमङ्गलम् गगनमङ्गलम् सूर्यमङ्गलम् चन्द्रमङ्गलम् जगत्मङ्गलम् जीवमङ्गलम् देहमङ्गलम् मनोमङ्गलम् आत्ममङ्गलं सर्वमङ्गलं भवतु भवतु भवतु, सर्वमङ्गलं भवतु भवतु भवतु, सर्वमङ्गलं भवतु भवतु भवतु.
Our third dancer is Akhil Joondeph, class of 26. His song is Seshyam Chabi Chataka, with choreography by Ratikant Mohapatra. The music composition by Gopal Chandra Panda and set to the uniquely Odia rag, Madhura Gurjari and Aditala. This interpretation of an Odia poem by the poet Benudara describes the charming nature of the young cowherd Krishna, his beautiful dark skin, his flirtatious eyes, his sweet words, and his beautiful flute playing puts his entire village into a trance. No one, not even the most obstinate, can resist him. Everyone, no matter how hard they try to ignore his persona, falls in love with the beauty, sensuality, and charm of Krishna.
Thank you. से श्याम छवि छोटक छवि छोटक से श्याम छवि छोटक छवि छोटक छवि छोटक छवि छोटक छवि छोटक से श्याम से श्याम से श्याम छवि छोटक छवि छोटक श्याम छवि छोटक छवि छोटक देखी के नहारिब देखी के नहारिब देखी के नहारिब देखी के नहारिब बुद्धि विवेक छवि छोटक से श्याम छवि छोटक मधुर बंशी स्वन मधुर बंशी स्वन ସ୍ୱନ ମତି କରେ ଉଚ୍ଛନ ମତି କରେ ଉଚ୍ଛନ ତା ମଧୁର ବଂଶୀ ସ୍ୱନ ମତି କରେ ଉଚ୍ଛନ କୁଳବତୀର ଗୁମାନ ଛାର କେତେ ମାନ କୁଳବତୀର ଗୁମାନ ଛାର କେତେ ମାନ ସେ ଅଭିନବ ଘନ ଜିତଙ୍ଗ ଲାବଣ୍ୟ ସେ ଅଭିନବ ଘନ ଜିତଙ୍ଗ ଲାବଣ୍ୟ ସେ ଅଭିନବ ଘନ ଜିତଙ୍ଗ ଲାବଣ୍ୟ ପ୍ରେମ ମାଦକ ପ୍ରେମ ମାଦକ ছবি ছটক সে শ্যাম ছবি ছটক ছবি ছটক ছবি ছটক ତା ନେତ୍ର ଭଙ୍ଗି କଟାରେ ଭ୍ରୁଲତା ବାଙ୍କ ଛୁରୀ ତା ନେତ୍ର ଭଙ୍ଗି କଟାରେ ଭ୍ରୁଲତା ବାଙ୍କ ଛୁରୀ ଦେଲା ବେଳେ ସେ ମାରି ମରମ ଦିଏ ଘାରି ଦେଲା ବେଳେ ସେ ମାରି ମରମ ଦିଏ ଘାରି ସେ ଦାଉ ସହି କରି ଅଛି କେଉଁ ନଗରୀ ସେ ଦାଉ ସହି କରି ଅଛି କେଉଁ ନଗରୀ ଅଛି କେଉଁ ନଗରୀ ଅଛି କେଉଁ ନଗରୀ ଅଛି କେଉଁ ନଗରୀ ନଲଭିଦକ 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 ছবি ছটক সে শ্যাম ছবি ছটক 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 ছবি ছটক ছবি ছটক ছবি ছটক ছবি ছটক
Our last dancer this afternoon is Sarada Nori. The song is Ehimu Dande, choreography by Sarada. Music is Ehimu Hande. Sarada will present a tarangam from Sri Krishna Lila Tarangini, a Sanskrit opera written by Saint Narayana Tirtha. Tarangam is an important part of the Kuchipudi repertoire that portrays stories from the Bhagavata Purana. The Tarangam Ehimu Dande describes Lord Krishna who loves to feast on butter. Protect us, O Krishna, you bring us eternal joys, say the maidens of Brindavan village. Sarada enacts Krishna secretly reaching for freshly churned pots of butter. As one of the maidens catches him in the act, he playfully smears butter on her and runs away. The dance incorporates rhythmic sequences while balancing on the rim of a brass plate.
इतस्तः सञ्चरन्तं जगन्मोहन विग्रहं करभ्यामधजानुभ्यां लालयन्ति व्रजाङ्गनः लालयन्ति व्रजाङ्गनः
Dirgidutta, the chinna, dirgidutta, the chinna, dirgidutta, the chinna, the ding, innata, dirgidutta, the chinna, dirgidutta, the chinna, dirgidutta, the chinna, the ding, innata, dirgidutta, the chinna, the ding, innata, dirgidutta, the chinna, the ding, innata, dirgidutta, the chinna, dirgidutta, the chinna, the ding, innata, taka, the ding, innata, taka, dik, the ding, innata, the ding, innata, taka, the ding, innata, taka, dik, the ding, innata, the ding, innata, taka, the ding, innata, taka, dik, the ding, kardagadam.
केहि मोदल देहि श्री कृष्ण कृष्ण पाहि गोपाल बाल कृष्ण कृष्ण केहि मोदल देहि श्री कृष्ण कृष्ण पाहि गोपाल बाल कृष्ण कृष्ण केहि मोदल देहि श्री कृष्ण कृष्ण पाहि गोपाल बाल कृष्ण कृष्ण येहि मोदल देहि श्री कृष्ण कृष्ण पाहि गोपाल बाल कृष्ण कृष्ण नंद गोपनंदन श्री कृष्ण कृष्ण येदु नंदन भक्त चंदन कृष्ण कृष्ण नंद गोपनंदन श्री कृष्ण कृष्ण येदु नंदन भक्त चंदन कृष्ण कृष्ण ये मोदल सकल भगतिं दर्शय श्रीकृष्ण कृष्ण तव कर्णौ चलय श्रीकृष्ण कृष्ण
தண்டம் தக்கிட்ட தக்கத்த செண்ணும் தக்கிட்ட தக்கத்தை கண்டம் தக்கிட்ட தக்கத்த செண்ணும் தக்கிட்ட தக்கத்தை கண்டம் தக்கிட்ட தக்க தக்கிட்ட தக்க செண்ணும் தக்கிட்ட தக்க தக்கிட்ட தக்க கண்டம் தக்கிட்ட தக்க தக்கிட்ட தக்க செண்ணும் தக்கிட்ட தக்க தக்கிட்ட தக்க கண்டம் தக்கிட்ட செண்ணும் தக்கிட்ட திமி தக்கிட்ட கிண்ணம் தக்கிட்ட கிடதக தருகிடதும் 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 கிடதக தருகிடதும்
धव धव माधव श्री कृष्ण कृष्ण नव्य नवनीत महार श्री कृष्ण धव धव माधव श्री कृष्ण कृष्ण नव्य नवनीत महार श्री कृष्ण भव्य नटन कुरु श्री कृष्ण कृष्ण बल भद्र सहोदर श्री कृष्ण भव्य नटन कुरु श्री कृष्ण कृष्ण बल भद्र सहोदर श्री कृष्ण भव्य नटन कुरु श्री कृष्ण कृष्ण बल भद्र सहोदर श्री कृष्ण
त्रांगजम तरिगिडतक त्रांगजम तरिगिडतक त्रांगजम तरिगिडतक तक तरिगिडतक धीम त्रांगजम तरिगिडतक त्रांगजम तरिगिडतक त्रांगजम तरिगिडतक तक तरिगिडतक धीम त्रांगजम तरिगिडतक तक तरिगिडतक धीम त्रांगजम तरिगिडतक तक तरिगिडतक धीम तकुनरिगिडतक त्रांगजम तकुनरिगिडतक त्रांगजम तकुनरिगिडतक त्रांग तकुनरिगिडतक त्रांग तकुनरिगिडतक दे तंगिडतक तरिगिडतक त्रांग दिन्नत्तम किडतक दे तंगिडतक तरिगिडतक त्रांग दिन्नत्तम किडतक तरिगिडते तंगिडतक तरिगिडतक त्रांग दिन्नत्तम त्रांग दिन्नत्तम त्रांग दिन्नत्तै किडतक तरिगिड त्रांग दिन्नत्तम त्रांग दिन्नत्तै किडतक तरिगिड त्रांग दिन्नत्तम त्रांग दिन्नत्तै किडतक तरिगिडतम
भव्य नटन कुरु श्री कृष्ण कृष्ण बल भद्र सहोदर श्री कृष्ण
तांगिडतरिगिडतम तांगिडतरिगिडतम तांगिडतरिगिड तांगिडतरिगिड तांगिडतरिगिडतम तरिगिडतम 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 तज्जम 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 तरिगिडतम तद्दरि तच्चेण्णु तद्दिम्मि तक्किट्ट तरिगिडतम takkita tekkita tongita nangita tarigidadum. Ta chum tang ta ta chum. Kedadaga tarigidadaga da chum. Kedadaga tarigidadaga chum. Kedadaga tarigidadum. Kedadaga tarigidadum. Kedadaga tarigidadum da ta chum. Kedadaga tarigidadaga da chum. Kedadaga tarigidadaga dum. Kedadaga tarigidadum. Kedadaga tarigidadum. Kedadaga tarigidadum da ta chum. Kedadaga tarigidadaga da chum. Kedadaga tarigidadaga dum. Kedadaga tarigidadum. Kedadaga tarigidadum. Kedadaga tarigidadum.
ಭವ್ಯ ನಟನ ಗುರು ಶ್ರೀ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಬಲಭದ್ರ ಸಹೋದರ ಶ್ರೀ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಹೇ ಮುದಲ್ ದೇಗಿ ಶ್ರೀ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಪಾಹಿ ಗೋಪಾಲ ಬಾಲ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಪಾಹಿ ಗೋಪಾಲ ಬಾಲ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಪಾಹಿ ಗೋಪಾಲ ಬಾಲ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಕೃಷ್ಣ.
We'll open up now to post-performance discussion, and maybe we can hear from the artists. Can I take them? I don't. Is it working? Okay, great. Please. Great, everyone. So this is the, can you hear me? So this is the post-performance discussion, and I'd like to hear from the artists, and I'd like you to hear from the artists, and would like to hear from you too in terms of your observations, in terms of what you gleaned from the performance. So before I start, I just want to contextualize. Sorry, Rani has an announcement to make before we start.
Two things. One is we have a gift for the dancers. I'm sorry we didn't deliver it exactly on time, but we're so grateful.
Flowers time, yes.
Wonderful. And our other quick announcement is that we are going to bring the treats upstairs after this panel. So could members of Shakti please help us at the very end of the panel come downstairs to move the food and the tables up here. Thank you so much.
3:58, holy man, we have like 10 minutes. Okay, great. I just want to contextualize in terms of what you saw, these 4 dance styles are more popular perceptions, more popular representations of Indian classical dance styles. A quick 101, because I'm an educator, so I have to do that. I'm teaching in a college. These 4 styles, along with other classical dance styles, were reimagined, reconstructed, reinvented in the 20th century. So what you saw was popular imagination, but based on a variety of different factors. I'm not going to go into that because this is not a class, this is a post-performance discussion. But I just want you to look at those styles which you just saw from those lenses, and what these artists bring to that is their own individual sensibilities and extended imagination. I'm going to ask each of you to talk about why did you choose this particular piece for this festival and in this environment. Sure. That'll be great. Let's start with Akhil.
Sure. Excuse me. Yeah, so I wanted to, as Professor Krishnan mentioned, I think all of these dance forms have very complex histories that I think, for me at least, as a student today, I want to be really mindful of. And so I really wanted to explicitly choose a piece that doesn't have in its own choreography iconographic ties to religion. If we are able to think of Krishna as just a person, there's no namaste in the piece, there's no devotion in that sense. There's not that feeling of Hinduism, I think, so omnipresent in the piece, and I wanted to bring a piece to you today that wouldn't necessarily continuously reinforce the Hindu-ness of Odissi as a form, because historically that's not always been the case. And so I wanted to, bring this piece for that reason, and also because it explores a lot of the sensuality and the romanticism that is unique, I think very unique to Odissi, and I wanted to showcase that.
Great, thank you, Akhil. And Sarada?
I chose Ehimudam, which is a piece choreographed by me. One, because it brings out all the elements of Kuchipudi, the storytelling, the fluid movements, and the plate, the brass plate technique as well. So as a university, as an audience, I thought it'll be nice for everybody to experience that. And I was also told it'll be a intimate audience setting. So I wanted to keep the dialogue of that abhinaya going with the audience, where I look at the audience and convey things in my own way and also talk to the audience through my body. That's why I chose the piece.
And Rachna?
Well, Kathak dance has a very big influence of Islam. It's a very secular dance form, and at one point Sufism really affected Kathak dance. So I created this piece about 35 years ago. Rumi is a very favorite poet of mine, so is Rilke and Kabir, all mystic poets. And this was a little challenging piece on this stage because this piece requires the fourth wall. Yes, because it's a very intimate setting. I wanted to do it because I didn't get a chance to do it after I performed it in Chicago in 2001 or something. So I really wanted to bring it today here.
Great, thank you, Rachna. Great. I'm very much aware of the time because I know you're here for the samosas too. So I want to just ask one more follow-up question for each of you, and then we're going to open up the discussion. Rachna, you teach in the community as well as you teach in a college, in a university. You have been teaching Kathak in Connecticut for decades, and I'm very happy to say Rachna is a featured guest artist in my class regularly for 15 years now, I would think so, and she's also a dear friend. So Rachna, just in your mind in terms of what does it mean to teach Indian dance, to disseminate Indian dance in the state of Connecticut, and what it means for you to be in a twofold position as a community dance teacher as well as an educator in a college?
Well, I really don't differentiate between being a community dance teacher or in academia. Dance is dance, and anyone can learn. I just love it, and I especially am loving it more and more when I see my young students dancing so well. And they are all going to go to Delhi, learn more, and I feel that I'm making Indian classical dances are like a big iron chain. And we all are little, small links in that chain because so many political, economical, social upheavals happened in India, and still that chain is intact for about 2,000 years. So each time when I'm teaching, whether in college or in community, I just feel that I'm that link in that chain, and I have to continue that tradition.
Great. And Sarada, you are fairly new to Connecticut. When did you come here?
2006.
2006. Okay, so not fairly new then. Okay, I guess we met. So I guess we just met. So I have a similar question for you in terms of teaching outside Connecticut and in India and practicing there. What is unique about this particular state and you disseminating a very rarely seen style in the state of Connecticut? Can you talk a little bit about that, please?
So a lot of work that I'm doing currently is in art education, and I'm loving the fact that I can bring in the hand gestures or the storytelling into classrooms. That's been very an interesting process for me. Also exploring K through 12 syllabus with some other organizations has been exciting. So knowing Indian culture through Kuchipudi dance, or for that matter, any art form, has been an exciting journey for me here. And of course, the the younger generation, they're so brilliant. They love the form, and they'd like to explore themes that are unusual. So we've been exploring climate change and other kinds of themes as well every year, through productions. It's been exciting.
Thank you, Sarada. Akhil, you bring a multi-layered perspective. You being a student in a liberal arts college, you have both classical practice as well as contemporary dance practices in your work. So I'm just thinking, I'm thinking of a kind of question to ask you in terms of what it means for you as a young dancer with all these different choreographic and performative palettes in your artistic portfolio, what it means for you to embody Indian dance in the context of Wesleyan, a liberal arts college, and what it means for you to do Indian dance in 2024 in this complex, fractured world we are currently inhabiting.
Yes, sure. That's a big question. I think speaking first to the Wesleyan point, I think Indian classical dance is often taught in, or at least I was taught Indian classical dance in a specific, like a extracurricular academy structure that's very based on respect and not based on critical engagement. And I think the liberal arts college really upends that and places critical engagement above like unquestioned devotion to everything that, like all the text that you're being given or everything like that you're reading. And so I think being able to practice Indian dance in this setting opens up the possibilities for interrogation that I think were closed, or at least I thought were closed to me when I was learning in a more like quote unquote traditional context for these forms, because I think that level of like questioning is not necessarily as encouraged, or at least in my institution it was very much discouraged. Thinking more broadly to 2024, that's huge, but I think it's important today, I think for me especially as an Indian classical or as an Indian dance practitioner, to understand both the good, the bad, and the ugly of all of these forms, because I love Odissi and I love the grammar of Odissi and the shapes, and there's so much beauty in the style, and also it has been so implicated in like the disenfranchisement of various populations and the continued like existence of religious nationalism in India. And so I think today, especially considering like everything socio-politically that's going on, I just find it like extremely necessary for me to be super mindful of all of those factors as I dance, and to not just be able to say like, oh, I just like the way that this looks, so I'm just gonna do my dance. Because I don't think we're able to do that in this climate anymore, and I don't think we should be able to responsibly do that. And so whether that's me performing like this or doing a lot of most of the stuff that I make, I think is not as traditional in its aesthetic and more in the Indian contemporary space. In all of those various contexts, like just understanding where these aesthetics come from and the ways in which they've been implicated in both great and awful social situations.
Great, thank you. That wasn't that bad. So being cognizant consistently of the aesthetic, social, cultural, and political, always crisscrossing together. Great. Now I would like to open up to the audience in terms of questions and observations which you may have. Yes, please.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Great. Question, you want to answer that about the signage, the gesture? Was that a question?
Oh yeah, he got it right.
Great.
He got the, it was him or it was him. You got that right.
Excellent. Other questions? Yes, please, Frank.
Educators in your own right, I mean, whether you're a student teaching other people or actual teachers teaching students, how do you feel about non-Indians learning the dance styles that you are presenting to everybody?
I love it. Please come to my class. Yes, as I said earlier, academia, community, non-Indian, Indian, dance transcends all of it. So it's very powerful.
My experience is mostly with students K through 12, and it's very exciting to see their response. They are thrilled to see that hand gestures can convey so much in Indian dancing. So, I mean, I would welcome more people if they are interested in doing the whole, art, the Kuchipudi style as well.
Yeah, I'm only half Indian, and my mother is not from the part of India that Odissi is from, so I think I've been learning a form that maybe some people say I shouldn't have been learning for like my whole life. But I think it's important that we embrace those things because, yeah, if we start policing who can do art, I feel like that's where we've lost the plot in society.
So in other words, you're wonderfully messed up.
Yes.
Excellent. Yes, please.
Mine's kind of mundane, two parts. First part, how does it feel for those of you who have danced in India, where perhaps the stage is cemented versus your footwork on wood? What does that do to you as a dancer?
Yeah, when we learn, it's mostly, I would say it's polished cemented floor. But the auditoriums always have wooden stages, so it's not very different from the Indian stages.
Are you finding like the churning of the butter is such an ancient and archaic way of churning butter? How are you maybe modifying that or teaching your young contemporary audience, your students, about old gestures like that may not have any relevance for them anymore?
I do always explain a lot before I get into it so that they can connect with the theme as well as the gestures and everything. Sometimes when I present outside of, Indian audiences, I try to do a gesture and a narrative. That way they correlate the gestures with the piece. That helps them sort of, okay, she was saying that and she explained it, now we see it in the performance. I try to do that a lot in the, outreach work that I do in libraries.
Yes, and also I think students here, they are sometimes shy doing things, or their gestures are not exactly the same because their feelings are not exactly the same the way it will be in India. But teaching them that dance is important, dancer is not, and that you are getting into the role, teaching them that you can become something else through dance and feel it inside. And by the time they're 15, 16, they start to get it.
I think also, and just to reference the piece I presented today, like there's plenty of gestures that I can't relate to as someone who's been born and raised in America. Like I don't go to the river and wash out my pot before I get water.
Don't?
Shockingly enough. But I think like at the end of the day, a lot of these like archaic gestures get to emotions that we still feel. Like at the end of the day, the piece is about sensuality and being kind of like fantasizing about someone, and that's something that like we can relate to even if we can't relate to the like mundane day-to-dayness of like the way that we get to that emotion. Like we can tap into the bigger storytelling of the piece even if it doesn't necessarily, if I don't feel like, oh, like I don't really relate to like the whole pot thing, but like I understand what it feels like to suddenly like notice myself like daydreaming about someone and then getting like lost in it. And so I think like even with the gestures, if the gesture itself is a little bit archaic, they can get us to places that feel really personal.
So Just extending that a little bit, I think it's just reimagining what Indian dance can mean in 2024, but also most importantly, how we can also consistently impact the form with a kind of outside the box access and inclusivity consistently, and how access and inclusivity doesn't have to be culture specific. And if you're taking it out of its context, it's really important to be adaptable and flexible consistently in every stage of the teaching pedagogy. Yeah. Yes, please.
Yeah, I think, well, I can start with this one. I'm a part of an Indian contemporary dance company, and so that's kind of what I'm living and breathing a lot of the time. And that's partially because, like, I think there's a lot of, I think we see Indian classical dancers and dancers trained in other styles as like separate worlds, and in reality a lot of us have trained in a lot of different things, and naturally therefore in our bodies like these various disciplines are going to kind of like come together whether we want them to or not, and usually you want them to, and that's nice. But I think you're so right in that every dance form has like a lot of depth and storytelling in it that when placed in conversation with one another can really bring out each other. And also I think for like Indian Americans that can create a distinctly Indian American body language and aesthetic that we won't see in India. And so I just like, to your second question, I hope that people in the contemporary world start to see dance and aesthetics that don't resemble those of the West, whatever that means, that don't resemble that as valid and as also as fine of art as like they see modern and contemporary in America, because I think there's so much at the root of it. I think a lot of these dance forms are so similar in their intention with storytelling and with emotion that like dance from Africa and dance from India and dance from America all share. And so it's just, I hope that we can all like open our minds to that rather than trying to divide.
Yes, I have danced with Western classical musicians. I keep my Kathak as it is, and I try to feel the music, what it means to me, what it means to them, and express it, but I don't compromise with Kathak.
One essential thing I feel when we listen to a piece of music, whether it's from Indian or another part of the country or world, is the emotion that we are trying to convey in the story. And if that doesn't connect with the music, we lose the audience and we lose the essence of the piece. So I think choosing a Western classical music piece is very important to understand what we are trying to convey in the story, if it's a story. If it's just rhythm, it's a different thing.
Yes, please.
I was looking at the various styles of dance and recognizing also that there's a lineage that each one of you are connected to based on those styles or parampara that goes back thousands of years. And you're embodying them. And your teachers and those teachers back all that way, and yet you've maintained that expression in a unique way through the way in which you move, you interpret your body styles and all of that. And I'm assuming, much like Indian classical music, there's a lot of improvisation. And I'm sorry, I don't recall your name in the middle, but I noticed that the choreography was yours, right? And yet you're connected to the roots that go way, way back, thousands of years, unlike Western dance. So, there is difference there, as far as I can see. Not necessarily the humanness of movement and expression, but there's something different. So I was curious how you see that individually.
I see it as roots. It's like a ship where in the water the ship and then the bird that is with that ship. So my tradition, my roots are that ship. I don't fly too far away from there, otherwise I'll get lost in the ocean. So it's very important for me to have my roots. From there I can fly and come back.
I see it more as a language that I can express through my body, whether it's Kuchipudi or any other style.
Yeah, I think I have, maybe we all have very different perspectives on this, I think, but for me at least, I think it's important for me actually to understand these styles as not necessary. I mean, we're taught that they're really old, and the aesthetic lineages that they come from are very old, but Odissi was codified in the 1940s and 50s. And so the grammar I'm doing today, though its influences are quite old, is less than 100 years old. And so just because like have brown bodies, I don't think means that we're necessarily grounded in history. And I think that's something, it's like a colonial way of thinking about dance that I've confronted and have learned to sort of subtly interrogate in various ways. But I think in the same way that the grammar itself is new, but its roots are very old, that's very true of Western dance too, right? Like we can't say that someone just came up with ballet from like nothingness. Like it has to have a lineage also that must be thousands of years old. And so I don't really think, at least for me, it's productive to separate like the Western dances are new and the Eastern dances are old, because that continues, I think, to reinforce the idea that like people that aren't from the West are like these grounded cultural ancient artifacts, whereas Western people are modern. And so I try to stay away from that. At the same time, I think it is important to know that like we are embodying like aesthetics that have existed in some form for a very long time with whatever dance form we're doing. And as I mentioned earlier, it's good to know that history, and it's also very important to know that that is the history that we're also in the present, and to sort of feel and see how those aesthetics can exist in the present while also being connected to many, many, many years of history.
So on that reaffirming non-binary note, we have experienced a feast for the eyes. Now we're going to experience feast for the stomach. Please come back at 5 o'clock for the panel discussion, and please join me in thanking the wonderful artists again.
Thank you for having me. It means the world.
Just to clarify, the samosa and tea is going to come to the back of the hall here. We hope you'll just stay and enjoy with us. And we'll also be setting up for the 5 o'clock panel at the same time.